Welcome to our deep dive into BOWA. This company is all about crafting some pretty unique experiences. We've got a whole stack of their stuff here, website, marketing materials.
Yeah.
I think their approach is going to be pretty fascinating. Imagine this. It's the end of your workday, emails are piling up, you're stressed, and instead of just reaching for your phone again, what if you stepped into a whole different world?
Oh, wow.
A world of puzzles, challenges, maybe even a bit of magic. That's what BOWA offers. It's an escape from that digital grind and a chance to reconnect with something more essential.
It's not just about escaping, though, right? BOWA seems to be tapping into something deeper, I think. It's like they're saying that with all this digital connection, we've lost touch with real human interaction, the kind that sparks creativity and builds real bonds.
Exactly. And they're doing it with this concept of gamification, but they're applying it to real life. Think like escape rooms or outdoor adventures, even stuff designed for the workplace.
And that gamification part, that's what I'm finding really intriguing. It's not just like throwing some game elements onto a boring activity, BOWA seems to be using it more strategically. They're tapping into those psychological principles that make games so engaging.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. When you're playing a game, you're motivated, you're striving towards a goal, you get into that flow state where you lose track of time and you get completely absorbed, right?
Right.
BOWA is taking that and applying it to things like team building, personal development, even corporate training.
Okay, so we've got this idea of escaping the digital world, reconnecting through play. And it's all powered by this clever gamification. But who are they targeting with all of this?
Well, that's what's even more interesting about BOWA. They're not just focused on one specific group. Their target audience is really broad. On one hand, they work with businesses helping them build stronger teams, improve communication, and ultimately boost productivity. But they also reach out to individuals, groups of friends, families, anyone who wants to create lasting memories, strengthen their bonds, experience something truly unique.
So they're kind of bridging the gap between the corporate world and our personal lives.
Yeah.
Showing us that the same principles of play and connection and growth can be applied to both.
Exactly. And they do it through all sorts of experiences, tailored to different needs and interests, like their escape rooms, for example. Those seem to be a popular way to get into the world of BOWA.
Okay, let's dive into those escape rooms then. What makes BOWA's approach different from a typical escape room?
It's fascinating how they've taken that classic escape room concept and added a layer of strategic learning and development. Remember that feeling we talked about? Feeling overwhelmed and disconnected at work?
Yeah.
Imagine walking into a themed room, the door closes behind you, and suddenly you're in a totally different world. You're surrounded by puzzles, riddles, clues, and you have a limited time to work together as a team to escape. It's exciting, it's engaging, it's definitely a far cry from staring at a spreadsheet, right?
It does sound like a thrilling way to shake things up and break free from the routine. But how does that translate into actual learning and development? Are we talking like hidden messages in the puzzles or something?
It's more subtle than that, and much more clever. The puzzles and challenges themselves are designed to need specific skills. Communication, problem solving, creative thinking, and the ability to work effectively under pressure. So while you're busy trying to decipher a code or figure out a tricky mechanism, you're actually honing those essential skills without even realizing it.
It's like they've snuck in some professional development while everyone's too busy having fun.
Exactly. That's what sets BOWA's escape rooms apart. They're not just about escaping, they're about those moments when you realize you've just solved a complex problem as a team. And that's a skill you can definitely take back to the office.
All right, escape rooms, check. What other experiences do they offer? You mentioned Intramuros and Aire Libre. Those sound intriguing, but honestly, I have no idea what they mean.
Well, Intramuros means within walls. These are experiences designed to be held right at your workplace. Think of it as transforming your office into a space for play, connection, and growth.
So instead of escaping the office, you're escaping the usual routine and mindset.
Precisely. These experiences are all about bringing people together, breaking down barriers, and fostering a sense of camaraderie. They're designed to address the specific needs of a team, improving communication, building trust, or just injecting some fun and creativity into the workplace.
Okay, Intramuros, got it. Now what about Aire Libre? That one sounds more adventurous.
Aire Libre means in the open air. And these are BOA's outdoor adventures: hiking, trekking, camping, biking. Experiences that take you out of the office and into nature.
Okay, that definitely sounds like a change of pace. But how does spending a day hiking translate into improved teamwork or increased productivity?
That's where BOA's expertise really shines through. They understand that the challenges we face in nature, navigating unfamiliar terrain, adapting to changing weather, relying on each other,
Yeah.
these challenges mirror the challenges we face at work and in our personal lives. By conquering these obstacles together in a natural setting, we develop resilience, resourcefulness, and a deeper understanding of our strengths and weaknesses.
So it's not just about getting fresh air and exercise, it's about developing those soft skills that are crucial for success.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that BOWA doesn't just throw you out into the wilderness. They carefully craft these experiences to ensure that they're both safe and transformative. They might incorporate elements of storytelling, problem-solving challenges, or even team-building exercises along the way, all designed to maximize learning and growth.
So it's like they're taking the best of both worlds, the exhilaration of outdoor adventure and the focus of professional development,
Mhm.
and combining them into one unforgettable experience.
Exactly. And that brings us to the heart of BOA's philosophy. They believe that play and adventure aren't frivolous activities. They're essential for our well-being, our creativity, and our ability to thrive in a world that's becoming increasingly complex and demanding.
Mm.
They're advocating for a shift in perspective, a reminder that sometimes the best way to achieve our goals is to step away from the screens, reconnect with ourselves and with each other, and rediscover the joy of simply experiencing the world around us. And it's that focus on play and experience that really sets BOWA apart from the more traditional approaches to team building and professional development. They're not about those stuffy lectures and workshops,
Yeah.
They're about creating immersive, engaging experiences that really stick with you.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world that's so focused on metrics and outcomes, could embracing play actually be the key to unlocking greater productivity and innovation?
It's a fascinating question,
Yeah.
and one that BOWA seems to be answering with a resounding yes. They're not just talking about those feel-good benefits of play. They're backing up their claims with actual data.
Oh, interesting. They're measuring the impact of their experiences, tracking things like increased productivity, better communication, less conflict within teams, even enhanced creativity.
So they're not just relying on anecdotal evidence or feel-good stories. They're actually collecting data to show that these experiences have real, measurable impact. That's impressive. Can you give us some examples of how they're measuring these outcomes?
Sure. They use a variety of methods, including pre- and post-experience surveys to gauge shifts in attitudes and perceptions. They gather feedback from participants to understand their personal takeaways. And they even look at company metrics, things like employee engagement scores and productivity data, to see if there are tangible improvements after a BOWA experience. So it's a mix of both the qualitative and quantitative, looking at the human impact as well as those bottom-line results. That's a pretty strong argument for businesses that are usually hesitant to invest in anything without a clear return on investment.
Exactly. And it's that data-driven approach that makes BOWA stand out from a lot of other companies in the experiential learning space. They're not just selling fun and games, they're selling solutions backed by evidence.
All right, let's dig into some of those specific benefits BOWA claims their experiences can deliver. You mentioned things like increased productivity, improved communication, and reduced conflict. Those are some pretty bold claims. Can you unpack those a little more for us?
Absolutely. Let's start with productivity. BOWA believes that their experiences, especially their team-building activities, can lead to a significant increase in productivity. They argue that when teams participate in these immersive experiences, they have to work together, communicate effectively, and solve problems collaboratively.
It makes sense. If you can get through a tricky escape room together or build something out of weird materials as a team, you're probably going to be better at handling the everyday challenges at work.
Right. By strengthening those essential teamwork and communication skills through play, BOA is creating a more cohesive and efficient work unit. It's like they're saying, let's make collaboration smoother by practicing those skills in a fun and engaging environment.
So it's not just about team building for the sake of it. It's about making a real difference in how people work together. What about communication? How do these experiences help there?
Well, a lot of BOWA's activities are set up in a way that promotes open and honest communication. They break down those traditional hierarchies and encourage everyone to participate, share ideas, and listen to each other.
It's like creating a level playing field where everyone feels safe to contribute. That can be really hard to achieve in a typical office setting.
You're right. And when people feel heard and respected, when they can communicate openly, it builds trust and camaraderie. And that leads to better collaboration, more efficient problem solving, a more positive work environment overall.
Okay, I see how that would be beneficial for any team. But what about conflict? We all know conflict happens in every workplace. How do BOWA's experiences help reduce it?
Well, as we've talked about, these experiences are all about building trust and understanding. When you're working together to solve a puzzle or navigating an unfamiliar trail as a group, you start to see each other differently. You see each other's strengths and weaknesses, you appreciate different perspectives, and you develop empathy.
So instead of seeing each other as competition, you start to see each other as allies working towards a shared goal.
Precisely. And that change in perspective can really make a difference in how a workplace functions. When people feel connected to their team, when they feel like they're part of something bigger, they're less likely to get caught up in small conflicts or let personal differences get in the way.
It's like they're building a more unified and supportive work environment where everyone feels like they're working together.
Exactly. And that reduction in conflict, along with the better communication and increased productivity, leads to a much more positive and productive work environment. People are happier, more engaged, and more likely to go the extra mile for their team and the company.
So it's a win-win for everyone. The company benefits from a more efficient and harmonious workforce, and the employees benefit from a more enjoyable and fulfilling experience.
That's right. And I think that's what makes BOWA's approach so compelling. It's not just about fixing a specific problem or reaching a single outcome. It's about creating a positive shift in the entire culture of an organization.
Like they're not just putting a Band-Aid on a problem. They're getting to the root cause and building a more resilient and adaptable organization.
Exactly. And that's a powerful message for businesses that want to not just survive, but truly thrive in today's world.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the benefits for businesses. But what about the individual? We started this deep dive talking about feeling overwhelmed and disconnected in our digital world. How do BOWA's experiences address that?
Well, I think that's where BOW's emphasis on play and connection really comes in. They're reminding us that we're not just cogs in a machine. We're human beings with a need for connection, for joy, for a sense of purpose.
It's like they're saying, hey, remember what it's like to have fun, to really get lost in a moment, to connect with people in a meaningful way.
You got it. And their experiences give us a space for that to happen. They offer a break from the constant demands of our digital lives, a chance to reconnect with ourselves, with nature, with the simple joy of being alive.
And it's not just about escaping the digital world, is it? It's about bringing that sense of play and connection back into our everyday lives.
Absolutely. The skills and insights you gain, the connections you make, those don't just disappear when the experience ends. You take those with you.
So you're not just having a fun day out. You're actually investing in yourself, your relationships, your well-being.
I love that. It's something we could all use, whether we're part of a team or just trying to navigate life's challenges.
Okay, so we've established that BOWA is offering more than just experiences. They're offering a shift in perspective, a way to reconnect, to grow, and to thrive in a world that can feel overwhelming. But let's talk specifics. What are some of the key details about their offerings that really stand out? What do you think will stick with our listener long after this is over?
For me, one of the most compelling things about BOWA is how they blend the tangible with the intangible. It's not just about front-end games, although those are definitely important parts. It's also about delivering measurable value, whether that's increased productivity for a company or a renewed sense of purpose for an individual.
So they're hitting that sweet spot between having a good time and achieving real results.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other, it's both.
You got it. And I think that's what makes BOWA so unique. They appeal to both your head and your heart. They offer a way to experience joy and connection while also building skills and getting tangible results.
And they're doing it in a way that feels authentic and sustainable. It's not a quick fix. It's about creating a lasting impact.
I agree. And I think that's what's going to resonate with people. The idea that we can unlock our potential, not through forcing it, but through play, connection, through experiencing the world in a new and engaging way.
That's a powerful message, and one that we all need to hear.
And as we wrap up our deep dive, I think it's time to really dig into some of the specific BOWA experiences. Remember those escape rooms we touched on?
Yeah.
Let's unlock that door a little further and see what's inside.
Yes, let's. After all that talk about play and connection, I'm ready to see how it all comes together. What exactly happens in a BOWA escape room?
Okay, so picture this. You and your team are locked in a themed room. Maybe it's a pirate ship or a mad scientist lab, even an ancient Egyptian tomb.
Ooh, cool.
The clock is ticking, pressure's on, and you have to work together to solve all these puzzles and challenges to escape before time runs out.
Okay, that sounds like the usual escape room setup. What's different about BOWA?
It's the learning and development that's built into the game itself. The puzzles aren't just random brain teasers. They're designed to test specific skills, communication, problem solving, creative thinking, leadership, adaptability, all those things that make a team successful.
Hmm.
But here's the thing. You're so caught up in the game, you don't even realize you're learning these skills.
It's like learning disguised as fun. You get a mental workout without even knowing it.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that BOWA can tailor their escape rooms to what the client needs. So if a company is having communication issues, BOWA can design an escape room that focuses on those skills, with challenges that require clear communication to succeed.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. They're actually customizing the experience for specific goals. That's impressive.
It is, and that same level of customization goes for all their offerings.
Speaking of which, let's move on to those intramuros experiences, the ones that turn your workplace into a space for learning and growth.
Yes, tell me more about those. We talked about the idea, but what does a BOWA Intramuros experience actually look like? Imagine your team trying to build a tower out of spaghetti and marshmallows.
Okay.
Sounds easy, but it actually takes a lot of planning, communication, and being able to adapt. Or maybe they have to come up with a marketing campaign for a made-up product. They'll brainstorm ideas, assign roles, and present their pitch.
So they're not just playing games for fun. These activities are designed to mirror real-world challenges.
Exactly. And BOWA often adds storytelling and role-playing to make things even more immersive, so people can step out of their usual roles and routines.
So you might be negotiating a peace treaty or designing a new product for a fictional community. It sounds like a lot of fun and a really effective way to learn.
It is. It's great for breaking down barriers, building relationships, creating trust within a team.
All right, I'm convinced about escape rooms and intramuros. Now let's talk about those al air libre adventures. What makes those so special?
Al air libre means in the open air. And these are BOA's outdoor adventures: hiking, trekking, camping, biking, kayaking, even rock climbing. They take you out of the office and into nature.
I can already feel myself relaxing just thinking about it. But how do these adventures benefit teams and individuals? Is it just about getting some exercise and fresh air?
It's much more than that. Think about the challenges of navigating a new trail, dealing with weather changes, working together to set up camp or cross a river. These are real challenges that demand resilience, resourcefulness, and teamwork.
So it's like taking those collaboration and problem-solving skills from the office and putting them to the test in the wilderness.
Right. And BOWA doesn't just leave you stranded. They carefully plan these experiences, adding in elements of storytelling, team challenges, and time for personal reflection.
So you might be searching for a hidden treasure or building a raft together, all while thinking about your own strengths and how you contribute to the team.
Exactly. And being in nature, away from distractions, allows for a deeper connection and introspection.
Like nature becomes a mirror, showing us our strengths and weaknesses.
I like that. And it's in that space of reflection that real growth can happen.
So these al air libre experiences aren't just about physical challenges. They're about pushing boundaries and discovering something new about ourselves.
Exactly. And that's what makes BOWA so powerful. They're not just selling experiences, they're selling transformation. They help people unlock their potential, not through lectures, but through play, adventure, and connection with nature.
That's like they're reminding us that we're more than just workers. We're explorers, we're adventurers.
That's a message we all need to hear.
So as we wrap up our look at BOWA, I want to leave you with a thought. What if the key to unlocking our potential isn't working harder, but playing smarter?
Something to think about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep playing, and keep unlocking your potential.